I just saw this video and it's from a very small YouTuber. So let's watch it and let's talk about it. It looks interesting.
If you made the average human life the length of one day, if you're 20, then right now it's about 6 a.m. I'm about to turn 20.
Must be nice, bud. Enjoy it. The next 10 years of your life are interesting. I often say that whenever someone turns 20, I always think to myself, oh man, all the trauma is about to happen to you. All the really deep trauma that is going to shape who you are for the rest of your life is going to happen. And I can't do anything about it. I have to sit here and watch this sweet, nice person go through horrific stuff that they can't even imagine. Because when I was turning 20, I thought everything bad was behind me. I had suffered through high school. I had gone through lots of hardships. So I thought. And then you become 20, and then you become 21 and 22 and 23, and you watch friends and family members die in horrific ways, and you have to share burdens that you never thought you were going to share, and you have to grow up so quickly. And then by the time that you're 29 or 30, you think, wow, I'm a different person now, and I think I'm worse.
And this fact has kind of stuck with me for a minute now. This is all off the cuff, by the way, which is weird for me.
Like the way he's doing
Normally
this.
I do all scripted stuff and, you know, everything's planned out. But
Forget the script, baby. You don't want scripted anymore.
this is a bit more candid. So I don't have a script. So we're just going to see how this goes. I heard this fact when I was probably 16 or so. And like I said, it's really stuck with me. It really puts into perspective how much time we have in our life. 20 is about the middle age of Gen Z right now. You know, I think the oldest is about 26 and the youngest are about like...
I don't know how old Gen Z is. I've gone my whole life wondering what generation I am. Oh my gosh. I hate that you guys just had to watch me do that. Between 1997 and 2012. Cool. So I'm still millennial. I'm right at the end of millennials.
14 or 13. So for pretty much all of Gen Z...
I think this is a really good metaphor for Gen Z people in general. I don't want you to think, if you're 26, you're nearing an age that is genuinely adult-y. But if you're 20, you're still totally valuable as a person. You have a lot of skills and a lot of thoughts that have a lot of merit to them, and people should hear you out on your opinions. But you're probably wrong on a lot of them, and you probably have a lot of opinions that the people that you're talking to who are 10 years older than you had at that same age and have figured out why they don't work. And that's something that you should not give up your opinions, but listen to why other people don't agree with your opinions, and don't think of it as you need to convince them or they need to convince you. Just hear them out. Let the share of information happen. Give your feelings about how things are and let that refresh the crusty, angsty, frustrated, and rusted over brains that we have in our heads. But also listen to what we say in the same way, because damn, we've seen some stuff in the past 10 years or the past 20 years or the past 30 years or the past 40 years, 50, 60, 70 years, however much older they are than you, they have gone through a lot of stuff.
It's around 5, 6 a.m. And I think that's interesting because there's a plane going over me. And I think that's interesting because Gen Z really seems to be hyper-focused on how much time we have left and how much time has passed. Every time I look at Instagram, I feel like I see a video that's something along the lines of, hey, did you know that October was 6 months ago?
I've been telling everybody 6 months ago. That's crazy. I don't even care about 6 months ago. I can't believe we're in June right now. It's blowing through. I've been telling everybody about. There's a band called Fall Out Boy. Maybe you've heard of them. They released an album called From Under the Cork Tree. That album had amazing songs on it, like "Dance Dance," "Sugar We're Going Down." I'm like a lawyer with the way. That's not on that record. Of all the gin joints in all the worlds, really incredible songs. One of my favorite bands. That record came out 20 years ago, and that record is the same amount of distance away from us now as 80s records were from us when that record came out. And that record feels like the peak of modern music to me. And it's not modern music, it's retro music now.
No, bro, it was actually 7 months ago. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. I can't believe that 2014 was a decade ago. We all really have this obsession with time, just kind of as a generational thing. And that's interesting to me because it's always talked about in the context of like, oh man, well, it's over now. I'm 20.
I think a big part of the reason that this is happening is because we have such high resolution imagery of time 20 years ago now. In the 80s, when you looked back at the 80s, it had this feeling of blown out lighting and super this very old kind of feeling to it. But when you look back at 2004, it looks a lot like now in a weird way. Yes, some of the styles were different. Yes, people were wearing short sleeve shirts with long sleeve shirts underneath of them with little thumb holes cut out of them. Yes, people were wearing Converse and ankle socks instead of Yeezys with athletic socks. But in general, it looks similar. It looks high resolution still. The lighting was figured out. We already understood the wrap thing with lights. Things look the way that they do now, and I think that's one of the things that makes time feel like, can you believe that was so long ago? Because we're still rolling with so much of what we were rolling with back then. We were already contouring our makeup looks, and we were already, eating Taco Bell and being obsessed with Taco Bell's newest menu item. And we're still doing those things now. And so it's pretty astounding that it was 20 years ago when in the 80s we were having these big blowout hairs and this super heavy makeup look with the big blush and the blue eyeshadow and everything, and people were in these spandex outfits working out, and just it's such a different look in the 80s versus 2004. Doesn't seem that much different. People were still rolling around in Range Rovers back then.
20 years old. My childhood is gone. But
yeah,
the truth of the matter is
that
it
is.
When using this analogy,
and you don't even really know it yet. At 20, you still kind of feel like a child. You can say my childhood is gone, but you don't even realize that your childhood is gone yet. It's nuts.
Gen Z, you're still sleeping. It's 6 a.m. The sun hasn't even come up yet, and most of us already feel like it's over. I actually came out to this field at 6 a.m. today, but it started raining.
This is something you get when you get older. You become very appreciative of the time that you have left. I want to live to 100. I want to milk this thing for everything that it has inside of it. I just love doing it.
So it's like 5:30 p.m. now.
I care more about myself now than I ever have.
Doesn't really sell the effect as hard, but it's the thought that counts, and boy, is that thought counting. Let's get a change of scenery. Switch up the spot here. It's a little quieter over here. I feel like Gen Z all the time says things like life is passing me by. I'm growing up, but I don't feel older. All that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not trying to say all these people are just stupid. I'm Gen Z myself. I feel this too.
This is so interesting. I don't know about any of this stuff. I'm apparently an old man, and I'll tell you what, I don't want to interact with this person. I don't want to interact with anyone who's younger than me, period. They are frustrating sometimes, but I do really enjoy getting the perspectives. This is what I love about video communication. This is what I love about YouTube, is that I get to experience other human beings who I would otherwise never get to experience. And you get to learn so much about them and learn so much about the way that you feel about things through that experience.
But I like to use this analogy just to keep my mind in the right spot.
Yeah,
If
life
you
isn't passing you by,
imagine
bud.
one day, one full day, the first
I barely
7
remember
hours
being
of
20.
it, most people don't even experience. They're normally sleeping. And I kind of feel like as a generation, we're all mourning the loss of the first 6 hours of the day. Not to say that all of these claims we're making are totally unfounded. We are definitely experiencing less things. We spend a lot more time online, all of that stuff. But I simply don't think it's as dire or it's
No,
as
I also don't.
as worthy of mourning over as some people.
Yes, I think that people are being sold this idea in this way, and I agree with him. I don't think it's super dire. I don't think that, oh my gosh, you're in your phone. What a waste of your life. I used to feel that way. I remember there was a time when I was younger where I took all the social media apps off of my phone, and I was big on being out in nature, man, and going on hikes, dude, and like, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here and live, dude, but I'm back, baby. I like it, I enjoy the life that I have. I think it's fun. I do like to do those things sometimes, but it's not dramatically better on the other side. You still have all of the issues that being alive brings you. You still develop medical problems that you didn't see coming. You still have family members that pass away. You still have friends that move to different places that you never see again. That stuff doesn't stop happening because you go on more hikes and don't get on social media. Life is still hard.
People make it out to be. I'm turning 20 soon.
Everyone wants to convince you that there is some pasture right across the way where the grass is green as hell. And this grass that you're standing on, man, it's dead. And you can't feed a single cow here, baby. But if you go over there and then you get over there and you realize that it was a piece of paper stretched across your field of vision that has grass on it, and then you step over it and it's the exact same field, dude. It's the exact same field. It's just you don't know anything about this field. You don't know where the trees are. It's so frustrating to me that people don't want to live the life that they are living because it's the one you're going to live no matter what. You do not become a different person because you start eating less red food coloring and only eating ground beef. You don't become a different person. You are you. You have problems. You have things that you're going to have to deal with. It's not going to change. You're not going to be Kim Kardashian tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It's your life. You have to live it. And you're wasting so much of it by just wishing that you were somewhere else doing something else. You have family members who you love and friends that are dear to you and coworkers that are important to you, and one day those people won't be in your life anymore and you're sitting here thinking about how, oh, maybe I'm on social media too much. Dude, everyone's on social media too much, and if you weren't on social media too much, you wouldn't talk to any of the people who you talk to through social media.
I'm about to enter a new decade of life, and I feel like I feel many similar things to the rest of my generation. I feel like there's a lot of things that I wanted to do in my teens that I just kind of didn't. And while there is regret for not doing some
I've
of those
seen
things,
so many Reddit posts
there's still
that are like, I'm 19 years old and I just wasted all of my life so far. Yeah, dude, that's what you're supposed to do. I thought I was going to be a rock star. I used to tell people when I was 14 that by the time I was 16, I would be touring the country as a celebrity acoustic act, dude. That's what I thought I was going to do. Okay? You're fine, my guy. Sorry that you didn't start a business when you were 13. I made an ass of myself until I was 23 years old. You're good. You're good. I know that you're going through a crisis, and I'm not trying to downplay that, but you're good.
still time. I have my 20s. I can do them in my 20s. I didn't make any music. I wanted to do that ever since I was like 13.
Oh, that sucks. I did make a lot of music. I recorded a record by the time I was 20. I actually recorded quite a few. It was most of them you will not find. One of them you can. En Route and in Transit by Letters. Go look it up.
I wanted to put out music, and I haven't done that yet. I started
It
a
wasn't
video
good.
series.
You know, you're not missing out on anything. Just keep practicing, dude. Keep making music. Just keep write songs and play them and get better. You don't have to record anything. Recording stuff is worthless to a degree. I record stuff because that's how I write, so I constantly record music. But if you just write songs, you don't need to record them if they're not any good. Just be honest with yourself.
When I was 13, and
You don't
I
need to
haven't
put them out. You're
finished
not going
it
to do
yet.
anything.
You know, maybe you have
Sorry, what did he say?
a video series when I was 13, and I haven't finished it yet.
It's crazy.
You know, maybe you have a business you want to start up or something. Maybe you're looking at your 20s in the face, and you regret not doing something in your teens, and that's okay. But instead of using that regret to further spiral down into sadness and think your 20s are going to be horrible, you can use that regret and
It's got Drake Bell look.
put it towards something good. You can end up doing that. You wanted to start a business when you were 17 and you haven't done it yet. You can do it. You can go do it.
I started my business when I was 20 years old. Probably 20. Yeah. It's been going for 9 years now. That's a really long time.
Haven't done it yet, and you know there could be problems attached to that, but that's all right. You can go do that right now. Even if you're like 60. I don't know why you're watching this if you're 60, but it's like what, 9 p.m. or something for you. You can do something. Colonel Sanders was like 65 or whatever.
Is it 9 p.m.? My grandmother is turning 97. It's 96, 97 this month. So, you know, you got a lot of time. And I'm all for it, man. I mean, people are younger now than they've ever been. 50-year-olds look like 30-year-olds 20 years ago. It's bizarre. I think that there's tons of time to do things. I'm just getting into really getting fit and lifting weights, and I'm having such a blast doing it. I am so interested in getting a body that I'm like happy with in some kind of way, that it's just so inspiring. And there are people at all ages doing those kinds of things. You're never too old to start doing something. I can't believe that 20-year-olds think of themselves as being too old to do something. Brother, you just... And I think, okay, I just had this thought. Maybe, real time, maybe it's because they feel like things are so damn expensive that they have to start throwing their entire life 16 hours a day at making money now, at working a job, because they screwed up and they didn't spend their free time because they were young and they had a bunch of free time doing things that would support them monetarily later on. But like, dude, just be on welfare, man. It's always hiring. You're young. You're probably going to be on food stamps anyways. If you go out and get a job at 20 and you don't have any work experience, you're going to get a bad job. So don't worry too much, man. It's going to be hard. You're not going to have a Lamborghini. You might not even have a car. You're probably going to have a bunch of roommates living in an apartment that has roaches. But don't worry about that too much. Keep living and doing what you want to do.
That dude was looking at, that dude was howling at the midnight moon. Gen Z is still young. I know we're now not the youngest generation in the zeitgeist anymore.
What was that?
But we are all still young, even if you're like 25. You know, you still got a lot of time. And I just think we all get a little
I wonder if his recording device picked up a radio signal or something.
scared.
Or he started playing, he got a text maybe, and he has a phone, and that's his text tone, is some voice. I've heard that voice before. That's like these are the 10 most spookiest places in all the world. Number 10.
About something that really isn't there. But also, using this analogy, previous generations did kind of wake up earlier. People used to get married younger. People used to move out younger.
Totally.
All of that stuff. But another truth I guess I will rebuttal with is that someone who wakes up at 4:30 a.m. is not automatically going to have a better day than someone who
No.
wakes up at 7. I've woken up at 4:30 before and tried to have a day, and sometimes
Waking up is such an interesting way to phrase this because I don't feel like I clicked into reality in the way that I needed to click in until I was in my late 20s. I was working a job that I'd put a lot of effort into, and I had gotten probably the highest position that I was going to hold at that place, and I really enjoyed working at this job. It was difficult, but I really liked working there. And then the pandemic came along, and I lost my job overnight because that place shut down because of the pandemic. And it shattered my world in such a way that you can go back and find videos now of me during that time with blue hair, doing dumb shit and trying to be something that I definitely wasn't, and I know that now. But that time period made me understand so much about my life and existence and how everything works in the world, and become so much more realistic about things. And that is waking up from childhood. And it takes a long time for some people. I know it did for me. And some people it takes way, way, way longer for. But just waking up from that click into existence and going, oh, I'm part of this world now. Really part of it. I get it. Whoa. That's interesting.
it wasn't good. Sometimes I had a good morning and then it fizzled out. And sometimes I still wasn't productive, even though I woke up early. On the flip side, there were some days where I woke up at 10 and I ended up having a good day.
Totally.
The time at which I started,
No matter what time you wake up, baby, you're going to stay awake for 16 hours anyways. I love that statement of while you're sleeping, I'm waking up early and grinding. It's like, yeah, dude, but while you're sleeping, I'm still awake and grinding.
not guarantee
What are you talking about?
a
It's 1:35 in the morning right now. You're sleeping, buddy. I'm grinding. See how that works?
win or a loss. It's hot out here. I think I'm sweating like a lot.
God, I got to be up at 9
Our
a.m.
lives really
tomorrow.
are just starting. Our days are just now getting started.
I still have to make a thumbnail for a video. 2 thumbnails, actually, because I need to upload 2 videos for tomorrow. And so that's going to be another probably 35, 40 minutes of my time. Then I have to brush my teeth and get ready for bed. Then I have to lay down in bed. Me and Tiff are probably going to talk for a while. And then I'll slowly drift out. It might be 3 o'clock before I get to sleep. Then I got to wake up at 9 a.m., chug a G Fuel, and then get out the door to go up and do stuff for my grandmother.
Started, and we're already mourning the loss of the first couple hours. Now, some people did wake up earlier. Some people are successful at 17. Some people have found their purpose in life by 20.
Totally. Justin Bieber
But
was
again,
a
that's
celebrity
someone
when he
who
was
woke up
like
early,
12.
and that does not
Getting probably fondled by P. Diddy. It's terrifying.
automatically mean that they won over you.
No, they probably didn't. Look at Justin Bieber's life. I mean, I know you want that money, but do you want to be Justin Bieber? Do you want to be the guy who made the chainsaw joke on a video that you still see pop up on the internet? Do you want to be that guy? I don't. I don't want to be Justin Bieber.
That doesn't mean that they won a competition. It just means that they got a head start.
Stop thinking about your life like, well, I wish I could trade this part of my life for that part of his life. Think about, am I willing to trade every single facet of my life for every single facet of their life? Because their life is the way that it is because of all the things that build it up. Not just because that person's a better singer than me, or that person has more money than me, or that person has a nicer house than me. Don't think about that. Think about, do you want every single thing about their life? And if the answer is no, it's probably not, because you are where you are, which means that you kind of want the life that you want, whether you realize it or not. Then just be cool, dude. Be cool.
And it's okay to
Chill.
not get a head start. I don't think we should be,
I'm chilling
as a
and
whole
vibing,
generation,
dude.
so obsessed and upset with our place in life. Now, I don't want someone to read into this and think that I'm justifying doing nothing with your life. Actually, I kind of want the opposite. I want this video to have a sense of urgency to it. Sure, for a lot of Gen Z, the sun isn't even up yet, but the sun is about to come up. If you're 19, if you're 21,
there is nothing you can do in the next 6 months of your life that will 180 degree your life around. Unless you're extremely lucky at something, it's just not that way. You are on a process of development and change takes a very long time. Unless you are already the person you need to be, in 6 months, you're not going to be dramatically different. It doesn't work like that. You've spent 20 years being who you are. You can't turn that off tomorrow. You have to spend 20 years being who you want to be. You have to. What I did is I found a bunch of people who I really admired, and I just sort of set myself in their direction. Not to be them, not to be Casey Neistat, but I loved Casey Neistat. I thought his outlook on life was admirable. He impressed me. So I looked in the direction that he was, and I started walking that way. And I've found other people who also are in directions that are sort of in an angle that isn't super wide from each other, and I've just sort of headed down that road. And that makes you who you want to be. And then you are who you are still, but you grow and you put on new things over top of who you are, and you end up building this person that's just you, man.
and you feel like you should get started.
It doesn't matter how urgent you are in life. Life doesn't care. Life is just life.
In life, you feel like you're not in the right place, then you're probably right. It's just apparent that Gen Z is really scared about
Some of
the
y'all do
future.
need a kick in the ass,
and I don't
though,
think we
for
have
sure.
to be. Now, Gen Z might have got some bad sleep overall, you know? So we might have got woken up in the middle of the night and we went back to bed. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to spin this
That
analogy.
COVID stuff
but
was
even if you got bad
tough for
sleep,
you
even
guys,
if you
I'm
woke
sure.
up on the wrong side of the bed, you can still have a good day. You can still have a full...
I can't believe there's people that spent whole years of their high school career being at home, not doing schoolwork. The education levels of young people must be so much worse now because of that. And I think that might be why we're seeing so many people say that education isn't worth anything, because they never had any education. They didn't get to spend their last 2 years of high school doing AP classes and actually getting out into work study programs or anything that would have actually gotten them interested in learning more about the world. They just sat at home and watched YouTube videos and were told by people that it was a waste of their time.
fulfilling day. And
they just believe
comparing that to this analogy, a fulfilling life. I kind of
Andrew
want
Tate's a way better talker than your history teacher.
to make this brain dump of a video to say that,
Not a good thing.
you know, you can start now and it's okay. But again, it's true that Gen Z has grown up looking at their screens. They weren't outside all the time. They don't remember a lot of their life so far. I throw myself in that category. You know, maybe
Terminally
you've never
online,
had
baby.
a significant other.
Me too.
Maybe you went through school and just like played video games all day, and you feel like now you graduated, you feel like it's all over for you. It's just not. I mean, that's kind of the best way to put it. If you're 18, it's not even 6 a.m. You can have a good life. You can have a good day. Let's move again. There's a little thing right here I can stand on. Oh boy. There's cicadas everywhere. I guess this video, I kind of want it to offer a little sliver of hope
This kid needs to check himself for ticks afterwards.
to some people, because I know some people really feel horribly about this topic. But I also wanted to offer some encouragement to start. You know, it's okay to start whenever, just as long as you start your day at some point. And I think worrying about when you're going to wake up is just going to make your day worse in general. That sun is about to come up. And enjoy it, I guess. I don't really know what else to say with this video. I just kind of wanted to bring up that analogy and talk a little bit about it. So, yeah, have a good one.
And this is the thing, you know. I know that every generation that's coming up, more and more so, they want to look like that they have it all figured out already. They get increasingly better and better haircuts. It seems like they have nice clothes and all these ideas about how things are. But I just I want you to know that if you're scared at 20 years old, that's totally okay. Because we all were too. And we didn't admit it at the time. And you know, when I was 20, I had a big old beard and I had a really nice side parted haircut, and I wore button down shirts and nice jeans, and I wanted to pretend like I was an adult. I was cosplaying as an adult, but I was scared. I had no idea what I was going to do. And now I'm not scared and I have no idea what I'm going to do. And that's totally fine. You'll get there and it'll be okay. I promise. Just keep going and just keep doing what you want to do. And if that thing is play video games and not have a girlfriend, then do that. Don't worry about what you feel like you're supposed to do or what other people want you to do. Stay alive. Keep up with your responsibilities. That's when I had to learn, really a hard lesson for me to learn. And be someone that people can depend on. And you'll do amazing things, guaranteed.